We here, another Tuesday, another Metaverse Q&A. Got a special guest that's gonna be joining us today. Got some really great questions for him. Um, I think you know, if you don't know him, then you know who won that. You know who won that money. You know who won that money the last competition they had. Uh, This guy made a B world. When you popped into the world, you were like in a B suit. It was crazy. Um, I actually met him maybe 2 weeks before then, and he was helping me get the in world purchase stuff started in Club 90. He helped me with the money guns that you see being shot in Club 90. He um, he came out of nowhere, really. I never met him before seeing him in like some of the early access things in Horizon Worlds, and really cool dude, really genuine. Definitely helps when he can. Definitely has came through for me on many occasions. Um, More recently, this past week, he came out with the Neon Oasis, which has pushed the bar, even further with the way that he did it, and we're gonna ask him some questions, and see where his mind at with this metaverse and how he's moving. All right, so Habitor, if you can press, I believe it's the little avatar at the bottom. Oh, let me see. Okay, hold on. I can invite you real quick. Let me see. I can invite you. Invite the wrong person. All right, there you go. I just invited you to join. I think you gotta accept it, and then I can bring you up. But yeah, I'm talking about Habiter. He's gonna join us. I got some really dope questions for him that I've never really had a chance to really talk to him about other things other than metaverse and like what was happening in that moment. So be interested to see with how he answers these questions. Did you can you send a request? It's gonna be at the bottom. I think it's the camera with the plus sign on it. Uh-oh, hold on. I'm trying to bring you up.
All right, we're live.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. How's it going, man?
It's good, man. It's this is probably one the eighth one of these that I've done, and you know I think they're getting better and better every time.
Good. Awesome. Glad to hear it.
All right, so I already like introduced you. I know we got a lot of people from Horizon Worlds on the call. I think most people know you for winning all that money. But tonight I think we're gonna learn a little bit more about you. All right, so I got some questions, man.
All right, I got answers.
All right, basically I just Googled like tough interview questions, but never mind. So first, you want to tell the people how how did you enter the metaverse?
Um, I was actually, and you can see behind me here, I've got a 3D printer. I was into VR initially in with the DK1, DK2 came out. It's always been kind of you watch like Tron and you're like, let's go, right? Um, But I kind of took a break from VR and I got into 3D printing. And back in like art class in like middle school, high school, I was like pretty bad at art, but I was decent at like sculpting. So I thought to myself, well, I really want to like model stuff for my 3D printing, but I'm really garbage at Blender. So I was like, well, maybe if I can find like a VR app that works for me, I can, like that'll be good because I've like, I was pretty good with like, and I say pretty good, I mean, I'm pretty good for a high school student with no like, no training,
Right.
in sculpting. I thought it might be easier for me. And I saw like a clip of Horizon and it had kind of like a CAD program kind of look to it that I was familiar with. And so, I signed up for the beta and I got in, and then that was 3 years ago, and here we are today. So,
Wow.
um,
So you've been in Horizon for 3 years, really?
yeah, I think well, just shy. I think it was November 2020. I think that I was in. So maybe I guess almost 2 years. Maybe it
I
was
mean,
2019. I don't know.
within the last, at least since I've been in, I mean, has has it changed like the most this year compared to the previous 2 years? Because I feel like it changed a lot since I got here. Or
Yeah,
got
it's changed a lot. I'll say that when I started, there was no snap tool, there was no textures. So, which are huge tools. They're huge, right? Like they're really, really big, and they don't feel big, right? Like once you know how to use them, you kind of know how to use them. It's second nature. But um, to me, that was the biggest change. But that happened pretty shortly after after I was in Horizon. Yeah, I think that Horizon's been going really hard and fast lately. This year has been a big year.
yeah.
Hopefully, we see more big moves. We'll find out.
I'm hoping so. So like when you came in, did you have a game plan or did you have like a purpose? Or like when I came in, I was like, I'm in here. I want to make money. Like that's why I'm
Yeah.
coming in here to make money. I want to
You?
make a
Pardon?
career. I want to make a career off this. This is why I'm here. And
Hmm.
I would say that's kind of like my purpose outside of, providing a space for African Americans and people like me. But what would you say like your purpose is in the metaverse, and like what do you wanna shed light on, or why you're doing it?
Yeah. Is cursing allowed on this podcast, or should I keep it clean?
It's going YouTube, but that's on you.
All right. Yeah, you can bleep me out if you need to.
I'm not. This
Well,
is
I mean,
raw. This is raw. This is
yeah,
raw.
this is not going to come as a surprise to you, Hardy, but I'm a huge fucking nerd. So, I actually I'm a big puzzle guy. I like puzzles. I like riddles, stuff like that. And I came on, and I kind of like the first script I did. I made like this like noise happen, and I was like, oh, like once I figured out like I could script, and like that kind of like I kind of figured out how to do that. I was like, I really want to make like an escape room. And I played a lot of D&D growing up. Like I was the dungeon master. Um, so to me, like making that sort of experience, it was really attractive, and being able to do that. So I did, and I made one, and I made the same mistake on my first like real world that I made when I ran my first real game of D&D, is that I made a game that was fun for me to run, but not fun for people to play, right? So in Horizon, my first puzzle world, it was really fun for me to make because I learned a lot, and I made some really kind of like obnoxious puzzles that are fun for me as like the puzzle master, right? But it's
Yeah.
like not fun to play. And that's actually when I met Wafflecopter, as he was checking out that room, and he was like, "Oh, I thought this was a troll room," and it kind of was, but I mean, there was a solution. but he gave me some very candid advice on it and design on it. And I decided at that moment that I wanted to make content that people enjoyed, that people could go to and have fun. And that doesn't mean making content that's good for everybody, right? Because for like puzzles are a niche. Not everybody's a puzzle world person.
Right.
Like I can't stand playing like visual novels, for example. That doesn't make them not a valid type of gameplay, but I'm just not the target audience for that.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of the moment where I think I decided I had a purpose in Horizon, which was at that point probably like a month or two in, because
Right.
before I was just messing around. But really, what's important to me is creating the best content, and not just the best content, but the most accessible content possible out there. And that's pushed a lot of decisions I've made, both in my creativity, but also professionally.
Yeah, I think like with the with the user experience in Horizon, what I've learned, over the worlds that I've built and stuff is you have to dumb it down. I mean, to the
Mm-hmm.
point that where a person doesn't have to lift up their arm more than they have to, or lift up their neck more, like things being at eye
Well,
level, things being, um, like I probably would never do an escape room because
mhm.
me personally, if I don't get it, I'm probably gonna head out.
And
Um,
it's true. And my puzzle worlds, their retention rate is, don't get me wrong, if somebody's in there, they're in there for 20 to 30 minutes.
yeah,
But the numbers that I get in those worlds, they're popular for escape room worlds,
hmm
but that audience is very, very niche. I mean, look at the Wii, you're waving sticks at a screen. It was one of the most popular devices that came out.
right,
You can't get much easier than that. Like Wii Sports was a genius game because it's just everybody knows how to play already. You don't have to teach them. And that's
yeah,
something that I think that I struggle with sometimes because, I like to design games that I like to play. Um, but that doesn't work a lot of the time. And so a lot of what I've been doing is trying to make games that like feel a little more natural. I've been spending a lot of time learning how to do hand tracking and do like hand track input so that people gesture very naturally. So when you have when you're scripting like a gesture based input system, it's a lot easier for people to very naturally do something. Like if I'm having someone like, oh, you're playing a fighting game, right? Instead of them having to press buttons, just punching with your fists makes it really easy. Like people get that.
yeah. No, that's the thing about like VR. Like you can do more than it's immersive, so you can do those
Mm-hmm.
things. I wanna move, because I got some questions, and then I know we got some people probably want to ask some questions. I asked this last week about you know uh, a beautiful lie and an ugly truth about the metaverse, and in either order, because we might have people on here that hasn't entered Horizon or entered the metaverse, so
Yeah.
I want to see
Mm-hmm.
what you think.
All right. Beautiful lie, ugly truth. I'm going to give you two in one right here that you can make money in the metaverse. And the beautiful lie right now is that it is possible. And it's not completely wrong. I think that there is a small percentage of people right now who can really make money in the metaverse. Um, I think that the ugly truth is that most people can't. Now, there are a few reasons for that. Part of it that it's a new technology. I think the biggest reason is that there isn't enough user adoptance yet. I mean, you look at any other platform, right? You're talking about millions of users, if not tens of millions. And Horizon right now is hundreds of thousands. And so your clients that are really getting value from it, right? They're big clients, and I'm talking like enterprise level. So when you're just getting started, I mean, there's basically, I guess, in my mind, 3 levels of kind of professional target markets in Horizon right now. You have your low level building and scripting, and that's where like creators who are casually building are paying for scripting help or are paying for assets. Then you have your mid-level, which I would say is business to business, right? Where you're going to, like creators like myself or creators, like you are going out and hiring other creators or scripters to build worlds that are meant to generate some sort of revenue. So that's kind of like that's like within the professional community, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hiring other professionals that are at kind of the same level at whatever they're doing, whether that's marketing or building or scripting or whatever they're doing. And then the upper level where the money is, where the real money is the enterprise level. And that's when you're working with major businesses or marketing companies. And the fact of the matter is that if you're working at level one is great for learning. Level one is great if you're trying to get better, and it's to take a lot of these really small jobs. It's a side hustle. It's not anything more than that. I think that people charge less than they should. And the fact of the matter is you'll get burnt out if you try to do that all the time.
Right.
No,
I agree. I definitely agree. I think with the like the level thing, it gets like a pyramid. I mean, it dwindles down at the top, but I just encourage people to just stick with it and stay with it. And I know we're gonna have some questions later about that.
yeah.
Got the Metal Street Journal about to be on here answering some questions and stuff. So let me move on. So
I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying that you have to be really good, and you have to be able to network to do it.
yeah.
I think that if you're focusing at
I think I'll get to it. I'll get to that later.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about like aside from the work, aside from the building, the scripting, how do you approach like branding and like getting your name out there to potentially new clients?
I'll be honest, that is my weakest point. I'm really bad at marketing. I'm really bad at branding. My strength, I think, is that I'm pretty good one-on-one. I try. I'm a pretty affable guy, I like to think. I just do my best to, you talked about when you first met me, it was with it was getting those in-world purchases working, right? And that sort of side of things. To me, when that came out and I got access to that and I was implementing it in my own worlds and experimenting, I saw a lot of people that were struggling with that. And to me, I want to help people out, and I have a vested interest in specifically in monetized features working, because if it breaks in Club 90 that is getting thousands more visitors than my puzzle worlds, right? Then if it's not working in Club 90, your user base overlaps mine by like 90% or more. So if it doesn't work there, nobody's going to buy from me, but it's a much smaller problem for you than it is for me as far as that revenue stream goes. So from a business sense, I have a very vested interest in doing that. But it also just makes good sense to look where people need help and to reach out and to help them, particularly among your peer group in like where you're working. Because the thing is I see so many people competing against each other. There's drama. They're like, people are, and this is for like small gigs, and people are fighting over scraps. I'm telling you, there's so much work out there and not enough high level workers. There's enough for everybody. Like, I refer out a ton of work because I just don't have time for it. And you're better off spending that energy getting better at what you do than you are at, you know, than you are with fighting with people about it, honestly.
No,
So,
that's definitely, you know, something that, I've dealt with since I've been in, and but I can't just stay in build mode, man. I just can't. I like
yeah.
to be around people and, just be in the mix.
Hmm.
Moving forward, I always talk about, being innovative, and pushing the bar and stuff. So like for your words, like especially like the Neon Oasis, and like blindsided, not actually speaking about where did you, not talking about those words, but just in general, like where do you like get your
Hmm.
inspiration from, when you come up with a new world or a new idea? Like where do you get your inspiration from?
Um, well, I mean, like two places. I'm gonna give you the like. I'm gonna give you the like the emotional kind of like core reasoning first, like the personal kind of like internal reasoning, and then I'm gonna give you my business reasoning
Mm-hmm.
second. So the first reason is that, like I said, I'm driven by making good, interesting content, and I'm driven by making stuff that I would want to interact with. So, with Be Blindsided and with the Neon Oasis, with Quick Thinking, Cyberfight, Holocrypt, all of those are worlds that like I enjoy engaging with. I enjoy being there. I enjoy playing the games. I enjoy working on them. I enjoy showing them to other people. That makes a huge difference to me. From the business side of things, from like, okay, I'm just messing around making things in VR like for fun. On the business side of things, I'll tell you honestly, I think in my head and I say, what sort of content do I think that Meta wants to see on their platform? And I try to think about that and I try to let that guide a lot of my decision making. Meta's really invested in collaboration. Meta's really invested in high quality content. I could bust out a new world every other day if I really wanted to. They would be really bad. Some of them might be good, but they would be pretty shallow experiences. Um, but quite frankly, I think it's a better investment of my time to spend 3 months working on a really big project than spending, than trying to pump out a bunch of content all the time. My thought
Right.
is not necessarily how can I release more content. My thought is how can I make content that is self-sustaining, that can, improve collaboration, that can get people together. How can I get people centralized and to, how can I automate some of my processes as a content creator? And it's not because I want to make less content, because if I could sit and make my own content all day, like I would.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah. It's yeah. So I think like for me at least, as far as the inspiration part, I look in the physical world. I look and see what works
mhm.
in the physical world, and I just bring it in. You know, but make some tweaks
Yeah.
along the way. There's a lot of things I've learned, from having heavy traffic worlds. Like in
Hmm.
the Hardy world, I had so many people coming in there, so I was getting so much feedback on how I can make it better. They weren't telling
Yeah.
me like something was wrong with the world. They just were like, "Oh, it'd be cool if I could do this," or "Oh, you should do this,"
Yeah.
"Oh, you should do that." I took all of that.
Hmm.
And I implemented it not only in Hardy World, but I implemented it in all the worlds. Like I took like
Yeah.
because that's
I'll
my
tell you though.
crowd. That's my crowd. So I listened to what they had to say,
Mhm.
and it
I'll,
definitely
I'll tell you though, unless I hear it from 5 people independently, it's hard for me to take feedback. It's hard for me to take feedback and go and implement it immediately until I hear it from multiple independent people. Because I've whenever you show somebody a world, whether you ask for it or not, you're gonna get feedback from them, and you get feedback just by watching people too. And sometimes you get really, really good feedback. You get incredible feedback from people. And sometimes you get feedback from people who just don't know about world creation, or don't, just like aren't as experienced. And it's something that is really unique to them that they would appreciate. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like it's good to give feedback. It's good to give that advice. But as a creator, I try to take stock of what actually matters in a world, right? And prioritize that. And if 5 people come to me and say, "Hey, this sucks. This needs to change," it gets changed, no doubt. But if
Yeah.
one person says, "Yeah," like, unless I think about it and I internalize it and I'm like, "Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. I think people will like that." Like, you know, for the most part, people will say, "Oh, I think you should do this," and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, "Well, that will completely ruin the experience in these, in 5 different ways." But
Yeah,
or
yeah.
it's not part of the vision.
It's different for I think it's different for every creator. Um. So let me move forward. It's so
Yeah.
I got the questions right here. I got a couple more. So do you think
Mm.
that it's harder to be creative in the metaverse?
Is it harder to be creative?
Mm-hmm.
Not for me.
Oh, why?
I'll qualify by that by saying I see a lot of people following trends, and things are popular for a reason, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with following a trend. Like, Pokemon was popular. I collected Pokemon cards, right? you know, um, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that some people I see people, I should say, fixate on the trend and say, "I want to do this,"
Mm-hmm.
instead of looking to the future and trying. It takes a lot of effort and free time and resources to be constantly trying to do something different. Um,
Yeah.
I don't really care about content insofar as it affects my revenue, and so I allow myself to be more creative when I'm creating my own content. As a businessman, content creation is not my focus because I just don't think that that is the best way for me to put a roof over my head right now.
I definitely agree with that. Um, so just getting a little bit into, because I always ask people like, how do they balance like life and
That is the best way for me to put a roof over my head right now.
I definitely agree with that. Um, so just getting a little bit into, because I always ask people like, how do they balance like life and
That is that is the best way for me to put a roof over my head right now.
get Habitor back on here. It just like cut out on me for some reason. If I can get him back up here. just like cut out. I don't know what. I think there's a time limit on the lives. Really? I ain't even know that. I was live for like an hour the other day. See if I can get Habitor back in here. He probably just as confused as me right now. I got a couple more questions. I got like 2 more questions for Habitor, and then we can get into the Q&A session portion of the live. Okay, I think I sent it. Okay, did you get it, Habitor? Okay, hold on. I think, damn, I'm tripping. Man, I don't know how to work this damn thing, man. I'm clicking accept. It say you unable to join. Hold up.
There we are.
There you go. All
All
right.
right. Here we're
All
back.
right.
We're back.
So
So,
I was asking you
yeah.
about how do you balance life and the metaverse right now?
Well, I honestly, I do the metaverse as my full-time job right now. So, my balance is as I would balance any other job. I'll say that being in VR most of the day now, when I'm not working, I spend more time away from screens than I did. I used to be kind of a big gamer, and now when I'm playing video games, it's less to relax and more that I'm just trying to figure out what makes this a good game, right? And then I'd rather be out like going for walks or like hanging out with friends or going to something social away from computers than than when I'm working. And as far as like life balance goes, I'm just making sure I'm not killing myself doing it.
I feel
I
you.
work to live, don't live to work.
Right. All right. So the last question before we get into Q&A, definitely want to hear about like when I ask you like what's next for Habitor and yeah, what's next? What can the people look forward to in the next
Yeah.
the next year?
Well, I'd like to talk a little bit about Neon Oasis. I'm gonna shameless plug myself here. So Neon Oasis, huge project. I've been working on it for the past 3 months. I dropped 3 worlds last Friday. It's open beta, still working out some of the bugs, but the games are for the most part stable. We've got Neon Oasis, which is the social hub. We've got Cyber Fight, which is a boxing world. And we've got Hollow Crypt, which is like a party reaction style game. Very chill, very relaxed. But Hardy, if you'll allow me, I do have an exclusive announcement that I have not published on social media yet.
Okay. Hey man, we got
Part of what I've been working on. It's exclusive to you as of right now. I'm going to make a post later this week about it. But as of right now, it's exclusive to Metaverse Q&A. So one of the features of the Neon universe is that when you play the games and when you engage with the worlds, you're earning creds, which you can spend on apartments or outfits in the hub world Neon Oasis. And then when you travel to Cyberfight or Hollow Crypt, your costume comes with you, your loadout comes with you. when you earn money in those games, that money follows you to all of the other worlds. They all work together. It's an ecosystem. So we've consolidated the rewards into one central hub so that we could spend more time making the games better, the environments look better, and just create better content. But part of why this project took me so long is because I was building an infrastructure that could be dropped into any world that is linked up to the Neon Universe network. And I'm super excited to announce that not just the 3 worlds that I built and produced are going to be part of the network, but also 2 worlds that are already super popular in Horizon are going to become a part of the network. And that's going to be the Cyberpunk Hovercraft Flight Academy world by Spacey Doge and Metajorgan, and which is an exploration world. You can fly hovercraft around. I know that they're making some big updates to that, and quite frankly, the world is incredible. I actually hired them to do the artwork in the 3 worlds that I released because of that world. It was a huge inspiration for me, and I brought them in. They did even more incredible work as well. The second world that we're integrating into the Neon Universe network is Game Grid. So Ubi's Game Grid is going to be in, and we're not just integrating them in, so you're going to be earning creds not just by being in the world and engaging with it, but also by playing the game. They're also going to have a unique wearable that will follow you in all 5 of those worlds once you have it equipped by playing Ubi's Game Grid. So once you go there, you unlock, enough achievements or however we set it up. We're going to get that done this week. And so by next weekend, not just my worlds, but other creators' worlds, you're going to be able to earn those creds, equip different gear, and it's going to follow you from world to world to world.
That's fire.
So I'm just really excited. Yeah, I mean, collaboration is big for me.
Don't nobody ask me to do that. I ain't ready for that.
No.
Anyway, Habitor, I definitely want you to stick around. I got some heat. I got some heat coming in. Before I get Metal Street Journal on here, do anybody have any questions for Habitor, or just have any questions in general? This man is I mean, really one of the first worlds of its kind to do like the whole ecosystem type of thing where you can take things from one place to another. And of course, like, shoot, man, I haven't even entered a competition, and you got first place in one, so you got that over thousands of creators and stuff. So you're and I want to say off to a good start, but shit, you've been here for 3 years, so you've earned everything that's happening, and I'm excited to see what's next.
I did see a question from Pigeon earlier. Earlier in the last stream, she'd asked a question while we were still chatting about what's the best way to get started. And I'll give the advice that was given to me, which is, thank you for the question. And I know this doesn't apply to you, Pigeon, but if you had the same question, stop watching the stream, log off, jump on Horizon, and start building, right? Because, yeah, that's the best way to get started.
Right.
You just have to do it.
Yeah, it's I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I calculate a lot of stuff before I do them, and I think through everything. So for me, if someone was to get started, I would first have them see if it's for them. Is this something that they really want to commit to? Because when I came in, I made sure that I was going to be committed, and it wasn't going to be another thing that I just gave up on or see through. you have to kind of um, eliminate any excuses that you can give yourself, and you got to know
Yeah.
what could happen as well. I got
And
you,
that
Russ.
back to that ugly truth, you know, like exactly what you're saying. Look, Hardy, when you and I came in, there was nobody else here. You know, it wasn't that we were, big fish in a little pond. It's that we were the only fish in the pond, right?
Well,
So,
well, well. I got in last December. I only been here for 10 months. You've been 3 years. I ain't been here
but
that long.
even so, right? Like, even
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
that's early. There's been a ton of people that's joined since then, and you filled a
All right.
niche really early that had not yet been filled. Now we see a lot of people joining, trying to, following trends, which isn't a bad thing, but in content creation and building in Horizon Worlds is a content creation game right now. There's two people who are successful. It's the first and the best. So, it is hard to be first right now in a lot of ways. So you better damn well be the best, and
Right.
that means not that means learning, applying yourself. I know, Hardy, you've been jumping into scripting lately. You've been getting better, up in your game. I spend a lot of time learning still. I'm pretty good at scripting, I like to think, but I'm pretty good at scripting for somebody who doesn't have a programming background. When you look at people, who have like a real programming background, they're in here, like wizards with what they're putting together. And I'm starting to crack into that now. But a lot of it is like sitting down. It's like I'm pretty bad at math, but I'm sitting down and like trying to relearn trigonometry right now because that's what's going to improve my game. That's what's going to make me better as a creator. Um,
I gotta do trigonometry, and I'll probably just hire somebody for that, man. I ain't even gonna lie. I ain't even gonna lie on that one. Let me answer this question from last girl. Last girl said, "What does the future look like for Horizon Worlds?" You want to answer that?
yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of a big question because it's like, what does the future look like? I mean, the question is in what category? What does it look like for in general? Like, what does the platform look like in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years? What does it look
Mm-hmm.
like for creators in general? What does it look like for creators who are trying to do this as a business? Um, Quite frankly, I think that the capabilities of the creator tools are expanding fast enough that I expect to see people teaming up more. I think that the time of solo creators, I think that to be a solo creator, it's rough out there right now. And for a long time, I resisted collaborating because I was scared that I would not be able to be good at collaborating with other people. But I realized, particularly after working with Omni Parker, that the content that I'm capable of creating and contributing to is 1,000 times better when I work with other people who have specialized skill sets. I'm a generalist in everything that I do. You know, I'm great for trivia nights because I have really general knowledge of a lot of things, but it's surface level and it's only going to be so good, right? Like, if, like I said, I'm not a great artist. I think that what I make is fine. I have a style that I can do that looks good, that's not too intensive, but I'm never going to be as good an artist as Spacey Doja and Metadorgan, for example. And it's not that I couldn't be if I focused all of my energy doing that, but if I focus all of my energy doing that, then I would lose in other areas. So I think that we're going to see a lot of teams. Unfortunately, I think that we're going to see a lot of drama along with that. The part of me that watched, like telenovelas with my mom growing up is excited for that. But the human in me hopes that, we'll be good to each other as a community. Um, I've already seen, because the thing is, like, right now teams are like friends, right? They're people who are friends who enjoy building together. And when money gets involved, not everybody's a business person. Not everybody's in it for the money. Not everybody, not people. There are people who are in it for the money, but they're bad at business. There are people who are really good at business, but don't care about the money. And when people's expectations aren't lined up, it creates for bad business, and it's going to ruin friendships. It's a lot
Right.
easier to just say, be very clear right from the forefront, defined roles, move in, say, this is our goal. Because if you're creating and you don't take the time to have that hard discussion, it's going to blow up in your face. It just will. It sucks. And I've seen it happen multiple times in Horizon.
It's
But
happened to me. I have had it happen to me early on, very early on. I want to go ahead and get Metaverse Street Journal on here. I like to
sure.
in on a certain time. It's Taco Tuesday, man. I can smell it.
Mm.
Better Street Journal. Y'all wanna go ahead and request to be on. Have it if you want to. I mean, you welcome to stay on here if you wanna. But
Yeah.
I think they got something they want to ask me about some I forgot what I
Yeah.
said.
Well, before I'm going to hop off, so you have the screen. But I do want to one last time plug Neon Oasis, Cyberfight, Holocrypt, and this week linking in Cyberpunk Hovercraft Flight Academy and Game Grid. And
Make sure
with
you
that,
guys make sure you guys go check it out. I actually did a live on my YouTube, going in there and everything, checking it out. But I probably need to do it again because I know it's like early and it was a lot of stuff. I didn't know, so I got to go back in there and I'll do another one.
yeah, man,
But
hit me up. We'll
everybody,
get a
y'all
tour
got
going.
headsets. Y'all go check out Neon Oasis, the Hollow Crypt joint, and Cyberfight.
Cyberfight and
Yeah.
Game Grid.
Thank you, Habitor.
All right. Thanks, guys. Y'all have a great night now. Cheers.